Imagine nice, fluffy sheep. Now count them as they jump over the fence.
Run! I can't sleep for fear more sheep will be harmed.
You know, when I decide that I really like a certain show, I might watch it more than others, or more than once, and maybe even watch it while I eat bacon! The following cartoon just so happens to entertain me so much that I'm deciding to give it a full review. This is going to be one of those positive reviews since I find the whole negative review thing to be a bit overdone. Also, since Halloween is right around the corner and this cartoon looks so Halloween based, I thought that right now would be the perfect time. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Ruby Gloom. Not to be confused with Max and Ruby, Ruby Rose, Ruby Rose, Ruby Rose, Ruby Roo, or Rubber Duck. Much like Hello Kitty but more humanized and having a gothic theme to it but a cutesy feel to it, this franchise is centered around a cartoon character, but this time it's a human character, and her name is, well, Ruby Gloom. You may not believe this, but this franchise was made by an American company called Mighty Fine, a division of Nelvana. Ruby Gloom started out as really more of a school supplies type thing, but then it evolved into clothing, keychains, and plushies. Considering how popular it would be as Hello Kitty, it probably would have gotten emojis too, but I suppose the cartoon would have done as much justice. But the weird thing is, the cartoon never debuted in America. It was debuted and animated in Canada. Imagine if a similar vice versa situation happened with Ed and Nettie. Would you even consider that Canadians were lucky that Ed and Nettie even aired on the Canadian TV cartoon channel Teletoon? Because the show was made by Canadians for American TV. What? Why? Yes, thank you, but why? Now for the cartoon itself. Ruby Gloom. Considering how gothic everything is, this cartoon was directed by Robin Budd, the director of the cartoon Beetlejuice. But I could see why Robin Budd took part in directing the Gloom tune. Beetlejuice was gothic and so was Ruby Gloom. However, Ruby Gloom was more cuter and happier. This cartoon's and franchise's premise was plainly and simply explained in the theme song itself. Look at the bright side of the dark side.
So today we're gonna take the time to show you the bright side of the dark side. And we think you oughta know you really gotta see the bright side of the dark side.
It's a great premise, but it really didn't sit with me the first time around. I got more into the cartoon the second time seeing it. Let's take a look at the reason for that, shall we? Oh, before we even go into that, maybe I should introduce you to some of the characters in the show. There's Ruby herself, a human girl who's all about looking on the bright side of things, helping out others, making friends, and having fun.
Bad things happen to me when it rains.
Well, look on the bright side, Misery. Bad things happen to you when it doesn't rain.
Iris is a hyperactive Cyclops who likes to have extreme fun, a funaholic if you would, the Pinkie Pie / Nora Valkyrie of the show.
Hey, Fly Girl, let's go!
There's Misery, a banshee who's always having bad luck raining over her and likes to refer to historic tragedies.
Did Ivan the Terrible ever give up being terrible? Huh?
Or bad things happening to her.
I was going to restock my first aid kits today.
But for some reason, she never really complains or cries about them. She just brushes it off. The epitome of goth and a fan favorite, Skullboy, a multi-talented skeleton always having an adventurous and exciting side, discovering things that he might be good at, dabbling mostly in many art forms. Also a possible love interest to Ruby.
Ruby's always doing nice things for everyone, and I guess I just wanted to do something nice for her.
My socks have never been softer. Thanks, Skullboy.
Also always trying to figure out where he came from.
Yeah, I must be related to famous documentary filmmakers. I think I might be related to a long line of action heroes. I must be related to the great painter Michelangelo. I'm an artist, Ruby. It's in my bones.
A two-headed monster named Frank and Len who can rock out loud and... my lord, they're stupid, but I love them.
Hey, I know. Maybe we should intervene. Thanks, genius. Doing something and intervening is like the same thing.
There's Ruby's pet cat, Doom Kitty, who's nicknamed Doom. I assume that it's not just a name of her cat, but also a type of subspecies of cats in Gloomsville. She has a violin for a voice. and whenever necessary, she might change her shape into different objects given situations in which she panics. I think I'll end the character introduction with 3 more characters. A raven named Poe and his 2 brothers named Edgar and Allan. Classy, high society, sophisticates of course. Named after and inspired by the great dark legendary poet Edgar Allan Poe.
Run like the wind. At the oak, hang a right. But hurry, or else you'll get quite a fright. The bats will not harm you. I told them, let pass. The ghouls are a problem. Best watch your... bottom.
Now, on to the episode in question, Gloom or Rumor. The story of the first episode isn't what you'd expect, considering that it was only the first one. Ruby was planning a secret surprise party called a Mayday Party. She wrote about keeping secrets from her friends in her diary.
Now what legitimate reason is there for a party today? That's it, Doom. Today is May 1st. We'll have a Mayday party.
Iris read her diary, but then Misery started a false rumor that spread around a bit that Ruby was moving out of her home.
Ruby has a secret. Why is she carrying that big box? Isn't it obvious? Ruby's moving out!
And that was mistranslated into Ruby has an illness and will die soon. Because Iris and Misery were both screaming out,
Ruby won't be with us anymore! Ruby won't be with us anymore!
Ruby won't be with us anymore. I didn't even know she was sick.
We better find her and, pay our last respects.
The first episode did a good job at introducing the mood, setting, and characters, enough to get a good sense and understanding of them. But as the episode progressed, the episode confused me, thus the episode becoming not enough to connect with me. Well, not incompletely though. This was the problem with this episode. This is only the first episode and we've only begun settling into the series. We haven't even completely gotten used to these characters yet, so why would there even be a rumor being spread around like it was the 4th episode? But it's okay, you know why? Because then you'll get to watch the 2nd episode! Speaking of which, each episode has its own storyline, but only the first 3 episodes are connected to each other. Episode 1 is the introduction to the show and its main characters. Episode 2 is when they introduce Mr. Buns and Scaredy Bat. And episode 3 is when they introduce Boo Boo, and after that, you could just pick up any episode and watch it. You don't even have to start from any other specific episode. Some of the episodes are hit and miss, more hit than miss though. And it's usually depending on which character or characters each episode is centered around, and how they interact with each other, and what the storyline is. So if the episode is about Frank and Len playing some sweet riffs and if you love them, you're bound to get something good. But if it has to do with the character you strongly dislike or hate, you're not gonna have the best time with the episode in question. The humor in the show sometimes even pokes fun at goth culture and goth habits.
Cool. Yeah, I always wanted to legitimately wear these.
Hey, Ruby! I'm smiling for real!
It was a phase. I'm over it now.
I should also mention that at the beginning and end of each episode, there's a short segment with the character from the show.
At her summer home on the island of Atlantis. And then it sunk. Counting sheep.
Ow.
The animation is great for flash animation. Oh, and for you guys that are fans of great animation, please don't you start. Flash is nothing more than a tool that is used to help animate. Effort is what you put into it, not only to make, but also create. In Ruby Gloom, it looks like they genuinely care about their animation in the presentation, and even if they use templates, it looks like they spend their time experimenting with the animation and mixing things up. It doesn't look too cheap, and it's not even expensive. The voice acting is superb. Each character sounds like they've sprung to life and had been given a great English dub anime sounding voice. The sounds and music for the show are great, and fits the scenes of each episode so well. It sounds like they had plenty of sounds and effects that they can work and play around with. Something that I always love in a cartoon. Overall, Ruby Gloom is a fun little gothic cartoon, which Rebel Taxi sees as more preppy. Why? Well, that's just how he sees it. The humor is funny, the visuals are charming, the animation is pretty good, and it's from Nelvana, the studio of some great shows like Redwall, Cyberchase, Pelswick, and Sam & Max. So, if you're into or respect gothic culture or have a soft spot for cute things, check it out. It's the best of both worlds. I highly recommend it. Happy Halloween, you holla holla Halloweenies.